I've got something to tell you, but I can't get it out. Maybe it's nothing, but I have my doubts. It's right there in front of me, then it dances away. Night after night, a feeling haunts me that something's not right. I try to ignore it, but it doesn't go away. Sometimes I get angry, sometimes I laugh. My memory's fading and I can't get it back. Your face looks familiar, but I can't remember your name. Your name. My children don't visit, my sister won't call. You hear that from the room down the hall? Someone is shouting, when do I get to go home? One minute I'm happy, the next one I'm sad. Sometimes I feel normal, but it never lasts. I've got something to tell you, but I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't remember.
there was no thought or attention paid to these children. So they weren't recorded in obituaries. The principals didn't note even the existence of a cemetery in their annual reports to Indian Affairs. So the complete lack of recognition is part of the problem, which of course is a symptom of the racism and the way in which these schools operated in the first place.
To those souls who passed, whose words
My Grandpa Joe, Joseph Drever, my Grandpa Joe's great-grandfather was Chief Mr. Walses, who was the first to sign Treaty Number 6 in 1876. Of course, the clause in Treaty Number 6 is a school on each reserve that was surveyed. In 1891, our community leaders petitioned and asked that a day school be established on Mr. Walses. We had first requested a Presbyterian church because Chief Mr. Walses believed that a day school would be part of that package. We had both on Mr. Walses, and that's likely why we had such a great number of children who attended the Regina Industrial School. I was likely in my 20s when I first heard that my grandfather went to a school in Regina. I didn't know anything about industrial schools, didn't know much about residential schools, except that my older siblings and parents went to residential schools. I did not go to these kind of schools. At the University of Manitoba, I was a history student and began to study the written record of my people, of our people. My grandmother, Evelyn Cardinal, was also a student there, and so that's where they likely met. Shortly after the school closed, around 1914, 1915, my grandpa and granny got married. My Grandpa Joe was known to be a well-spoken, well-read man. He also had skills. He enlisted in the First World War, and he listed his occupation as farmer. Also locally and regionally, he was known for his carpentry skills. His farming, his carpentry, his leadership were likely a result of the Regina Industrial School. The things he learned, the skills he learned, helped make a better life for himself and for his family. My Grandpa Joe had siblings that attended the Regina Industrial School. He had at least one brother and at least one sister. There could have been others. And again, until we know more about who all went to that school, that's still to be determined. One of his siblings, a sister, did not return home to Mr. Walses. When school finished one year, they were waiting for the sons and daughters to return home. One daughter did not return home. They inquired with the Indian agent, "Where's our daughter?" The Indian agent made inquiries and replied to them that she died at school, without further explaining the circumstance. That grand aunt is likely buried at the cemetery at the site of Regina Industrial School.
RCMP property, no trespassing. That sign can be torn down, and the makeshift cemetery with unmarked graves of Indigenous children preserved with dignity. Debbie Hill brought her granddaughter to witness this land transfer from the RCMP.
The RCMP have not a very good history, in rounding up kids and putting them in residential school. My dad being one of them, that he was always running away and being rounded up by the RCMP. For them to take this step, I think that's a very honorable and wonderful step to take.
Hill's grandparents went to the Regina Indian Industrial School in the early 1900s. She's part of a commemorative association that has fought for years to stop private development on this land. Sarah Longman drew inspiration from the residential school's most famous student.
This is Kisik.
The boys' before and after photos have become iconic images in Canada, emblematic of colonization and cultural abuse.
We have a deep connection to our hair. And if you take a look at the first picture of Kisik, you see his hair with the long braids in there. And there's a spiritual connection to our hair. And when you see the connection here and the hair gone, it's heartbreaking. It gives me goosebumps.
Kisik died of tuberculosis after being sent home sick. Sonar technology has revealed at least 36 children are buried here with no grave markers.
I look at what my son and how I would feel if he never came back from school.
David John Owens is a Regina resident who has dedicated countless hours to this cemetery simply because he cares.
We've found bodies on top of bodies, and it's really horrifying to think of that.
Now that the commemorative group owns this land, it can create a memorial to honor and recognize the children.
When a provincial heritage property is designated, it is usually with the intention of celebrating a part of our provincial past. Today's designation, however, is somber. This designation requires reflection and remembrance of the lasting impacts of Canada's residential school system. The site beside us memorializes the up to 40 First Nations and Métis children who died while attending the Regina Indian Industrial Schools between the years of 1891 and 1910.
I'm a residential school survivor of 11 years, and I bear the scars of what happened to me there. Our children lie here. They have lain here forgotten for many years, and so now falls upon us to remember them.
We don't know who these children are, but today we can say, as First Nations, we know that they were loved. We know that they had families that grieved, mothers and fathers and grandparents and community.
When I first came here, you couldn't really see it. It's like having a heavy fog on the land, and it's hard to walk in and around it. And over the years since I started coming here, it feels like it's slowly lifting, and that now it'll become a place of light and positive energy.
Day to have you back home where you belong. The only thing that kept me alive was knowing I would see you again. There was no way for me to know you'd come back. Oh man, I don't know. My son, where did you go when they took you away?
time the Creator came down, and He created wolf, bear, eagle, and thunderbird. And then He split them into wolves.
What is this building? What is this place? Who are these people? What is this race? I want my mommy. I want my dad. I want my brothers. And the good times we had. So you want to civilize us, take away our families, sterilize our blood, strip me, beat me, shot me in the dark, terrified and traumatized, but I will survive. All of the children, all of the lives, all of those loved ones, all of those died. Gone are our families, gone are our friends. Political practices, religious trends. So you want to civilize us, take away our families, sterilize our blood, strip me, beat me, shot me in the dark, terrified and traumatized, but I will survive. So you want to civilize us, take away our families, sterilize my blood, strip me, beat me, shot me in the dark, terrified and traumatized, but I will survive. All of the children, all of the lives, all of the loved ones, all of those died.
welcome the Chief Mr. Walsh's school. We begin each school year with a community pancake breakfast at the school, partly to welcome back the students, but also to welcome the teachers, new and old teachers, who are returning this year. I think we have grade 2s here collecting their breakfast. The kindergartens have started already.
Danse or stay. Aninjiga. These are some of the languages that were spoken by these children that were part of the residential school era legacy. This is the site of Regina Residential Industrial School back in the 1800s. And like myself, I'm a survivor from there, and these ones didn't survive. But I was told a while back by an elder who came to a gathering in Peterborough, Ontario, to not forget the children. They said that they were following him, and they said, don't forget us. And so that's why I've come here, just to commemorate this site and do a little smudge and just do a little prayer for all the children, you know, and the people that died back in the early 1900s when the residential schools were being formed by the government of Canada and the churches of this country. Except the migrant, that's all I say for now.